Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. OK, let's create a comprehensive, step-by-step guide on deploying a MERN, MongoDB, express.js, React, node.js, application to Azure App Service. This tutorial aims to be thorough, covering all the essential steps and potential pitfalls, with detailed code examples. Overview. This tutorial will guide you through 1. Setting up your Azure account and resources *, creating an Azure subscription, a resource group, a MongoDB Atlas cluster, or another MongoDB service, and an Azure App Service. 2. Preparing your MERN application *, structuring your application, configuring environment variables, and creating build scripts. 3. Deploying your backend, node.js/express, deploying the server application using Git deployment. 4. Deploying your frontend, React, building the React application for production and configuring the server to serve the static files. 5. Configuring environment variables in Azure *, setting up the necessary environment variables for your application to connect to the database and other services. 6. Troubleshooting and common issues *, addressing common problems and providing solutions. Prerequisites. Azure account *, you'll need an active Azure subscription. If you don't have one, you can sign up for a free trial. Node.js and npm *, make sure you have node.js and npm, Node Package Manager, installed on your local machine. Git Git is required for deployment. Azure CLI, optional. The Azure CLI is a command line tool that allows you to manage Azure resources. It's helpful but not strictly necessary, as you can also use the Azure portal. MongoDB Atlas account, recommended. Using MongoDB Atlas makes managing your database easier, especially for deployments. Step 1. Setting up your Azure account and resources. 1. Create an Azure subscription. If you don't have one, go to the Azure portal, https://portal.azure.com/ https://portal.azure.com, and follow the steps to create a new subscription. You might be eligible for a free trial with credits. 2. Create a resource group *. A resource group is a container that holds related resources for an Azure solution. This makes it easier to manage and deploy resources together. In the Azure portal, search for resource groups and click Add. Select your subscription. Enter a name for your resource group, example MERN app RG. Choose a region, example East US. Select a region close to your target users for better performance. Click Review plus Create and then Create. 3. Create a MongoDB Atlas cluster, or another MongoDB service. MongoDB Atlas *. Go to MongoDB Atlas, https://www.mongodb.com/atlas/ https://www.mongodb.com/atlas, and sign up or log in. Create a new project. Create a new cluster. Choose the free tier, M0, for testing or a paid tier for production. Select a region close to your Azure App Service. Configure the cluster settings, example provider, region, tier. Add your IP address to the IP access list to allow your application to connect. For development, you can add 0.0.0.0/0, allow all, but never do this in production. Restrict access to only the IP address of your Azure App Service, after you deploy it. Create a database user with read and write access. Note the username and password. Get the connection string. It will look something like this. Asterisk other MongoDB services asterisk if you're using another MongoDB service, example MongoDB on Azure Cosmos DB, follow the instructions for that service to create a database and get the connection string. 4. Create an Azure App Service asterisk. Asterisk in the Azure portal, search for App Services and click Add. Asterisk select your subscription and resource group. Asterisk enter a name for your app service, example MERN app service. The name must be globally unique. Asterisk choose node.js as the runtime stack. Select the latest LTS version. Asterisk choose a region, the same region as your resource group and MongoDB cluster is best. Asterisk select a pricing plan. The free plan is suitable for testing, but for production, consider a basic or higher plan. Asterisk click Review plus Create and then create. Step 2. Preparing your MERN application. Let's assume you have a basic MERN application with the following structure. 2.1 Configure environment variables. Your backend needs to connect to the MongoDB database. Store the connection string and any other sensitive information in environment variables. Asterisk server/.env, development, for local development only create a .env file in your server directory. Asterisk server/index.js asterisk load environment variables using .env, install with npm install .env in your server directory. 2.2 Create a build script for the frontend. Your frontend needs to be built into static files that the backend can serve. Add a build script to your client/package.json. 2.3 Configure the backend to serve static files. Modify your server/index.js to serve the static files from the client/build directory. This assumes you'll build the React app before deploying the backend. Important path considerations asterisk. Asterisk the path.join, __dir name, /client/build, is crucial. __dir name refers to the directory where the index.js file is located, the server directory. /client/build navigates up one level, to the root of your MERN app, and then into the client/build directory. Asterisk the catch-all root ensures that any root not handled by your API, example /about, /contact, is served by the React application. 2.4 Modify the server/package.json. Add a start script in your server package.json. 3. Deploying your backend, node.js/express. The easiest way to deploy to Azure App Service is using Git deployment. 3.1 Create a Git repository. If you haven't already, initialize a Git repository in your project root. Git init, git add, git commit initial commit. Create an empty Git repository in Azure App Service. In the Azure portal, go to your app service. In the left-hand menu, under Deployment, click Deployment Center. Choose local Git as the source. Azure will provide you with a Git URL, example https://username@appname.scm.azurewebsites.net/appname.git. Save this URL. Set the deployment credentials. Azure will prompt you to set deployment credentials, username and password. This is separate from your Azure account credentials. Push your code to Azure. Run the following commands in your terminal, replacing git URL with the URL from Azure. Git remote add Azure git URL. Git push Azure main. Azure will automatically build and deploy your application. You can monitor the deployment process in the Deployment Center. Step 4, Deploying your frontend, React. After deploying the backend, you can deploy the front end. 4.1 Build the React application asterisk. In your client directory, run. This will create a build directory containing the optimized static files of your React application. 5. Configuring environment variables in Azure. You need to set the mongodb_URI environment variable in your Azure app service. 1. Go to the Azure portal * navigate to your app service. 2. Settings configuration * in the left-hand menu, click on configuration. 3. Application settings * under application settings, click plus new application setting. 4. Name * enter mongodb_URI. 5. Value * enter the MongoDB connection string, from MongoDB Atlas. 6. Click OK and then save. The app service will restart. 7. Add other environment variables as needed, example port, any API keys. Step 6, Troubleshooting and common issues. * application not starting *. Check the logs * in the Azure portal, go to your app service, then app service logs. Enable application logging, file system, and detailed error messages. Look for errors in the logs that might indicate why the application is not starting, example connection errors, missing dependencies. Verify environment variables * make sure you've set the mongodb_URI and any other required environment variables correctly in the Azure portal. Start script * double check that your server /package.json has a correct start script, example start, node.index.js. Frontend not displaying check the build ensure that the client/build directory exists and contains the build static files. Static file serving verify that your server /index.js is correctly serving the static files from the client/build directory. Check the paths. CORS issues if you're making API requests from your frontend to your backend, ensure that CORS is configured correctly. Use the CORS middleware in your Express app. For development, you can use CORS, but for production, restrict the origins. MongoDB connection errors connection string double check the MongoDB connection string for accuracy, username, password, cluster name, database name. IP access list make sure the IP address of your Azure App Service is allowed in the MongoDB Atlas IP access list. You can find the outbound IP address of your app service in the Azure portal, Properties outbound IP addresses. Example. Let's put it all together with a simple example. 1. Create a basic MERN app, or use an existing one, ensure it has a backend, server, and a frontend, client. 2. Set up Azure resources * create a resource group, MongoDB Atlas cluster, and Azure App Service. 3. Configure environment variables * store your MongoDB connection string in the .env file, for local development, and in the Azure App Service configuration. 4. Modify server /index.js * load environment variables using .env, connect to MongoDB using the connection string from the environment, and serve static files from the client/build directory. 5. Modify client/package.json * add a build script. 6. Deploy the backend using git * create a git repository, connect it to the Azure App Services Git URL, and push your code. Important considerations **** security * never commit sensitive information, like database passwords, to your Git repository. Use environment variables. Restrict access to your MongoDB database. Scaling * Azure App Service allows you to scale your application easily by increasing the number of instances or choosing a higher pricing tier. Continuous integration / continuous deployment, CI/CD. For a more automated deployment workflow, consider setting up CI/CD using Azure DevOps or GitHub Actions. This will automatically build and deploy your application whenever you push changes to your Git repository. Monitoring. Use Azure Monitor to track the performance and health of your application. This detailed tutorial should provide you with a solid foundation for deploying your MERN application to Azure App Service. Remember to adapt the steps and configurations to your specific application and environment. Good luck.